Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ellison Cruz, and well, what else is there to say that hasn't already been said about The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time? This is objectively one of the most influential games that has ever been released, and it helped pave the way for countless others in terms of outstanding game design, storytelling, and especially music. After a lot of deliberation, I opted to record this project with the excellent 3DS version, as opposed to, say, the Virtual Console or the original game. Don't worry, unlike the Majora's Mask remake, which I feel like a lot of us are still collectively traumatized by, this one does stay a lot more faithful to the mechanics and overall composition of the original, with a couple of modern tweaks here and there, like motion controls and a few elements that have been streamlined, but not all of it is great, and we'll get into that later. But man, not nearly enough could be said about the nostalgia that radiates from this game, so without further ado, let's get into this adventure and save Hyrule. Well, it shouldn't come as any surprise that we would stumble upon our intrepid protagonist fighting his demons and the night terrors that plague him, but sleeping on a bed that looks as uncomfortable as that probably is not contributing to the most restful sleeps. And apparently Hyrule's destiny can depend on such a sleepy boy. Doesn't help that it's also 6 in the morning right now, and I highly doubt that our hero friend here was expecting to be awoken by a very rambunctious fairy. This is Navi, our trusty sidekick, and one that a lot of people tend to rag on just because it's so easy. But Navi's pretty important, and I do have a soft spot for our tutorial-ridden friend. But as it turns out, the Great Deku Tree has summoned us and Link just takes it all in stride. He needs his morning coffee, but sadly, he's got to go out and get it. What's nice about our humble little abode here is that you can change the camera and get a slightly different angle of things around here. We're not going to come back to this point very often, but when you save and quit, this is where you spawn, and if you're low on health, you can take a nap and eventually revisit past nightmares in the form of a boss gauntlet. And not something that we're necessarily gonna spend too much time doing, just good to know that the 3DS has added a couple of nifty things here and there, and well, it might be worth taking at least one look at, especially when we get a pet. But welcome to the Kokiri Forest as we get ourselves a fresh of breath air. Our longest standing, greatest, and slowest friend has come to greet us. This is Saria, and she brings news of very happy fairies. Wow, hey, she's thrilled for us that we're no longer going to be outcast, because apparently it is a rite of passage to become a true Kokiri, and it's to have a fairy, which Link has never had before. But yes, it is quite an honor to talk to the Great Deku Tree, and we'll go and do that right away. It seems pretty important that we should head over there, and hopefully nothing will get in our way, like insecure bullies who just like to do a little skedaddle dance right in front of us. Hey, excuse me, brother, are you good? This is Mido, and he is the resident bully of Kokiri Village, and he's very insecure about his manhood. He dogs on us because, well, we don't watch Andrew Tate, and we don't listen to Joe Rogan, so yeah. He seems to be a little jealous that the Great Deku Tree has summoned us and not him. We aren't even fully equipped yet, but it seems like we might need both a sword and a shield in order to get in. So he doesn't even have his equipment ready, but he's not gonna let us through. So yeah, we should maybe go and fix that before everybody gets mad at us. If we go and talk to Saria, well, you'll probably be just a little bit disappointed that she's gonna take his side. He's a bum and he knows it. He's mean to everybody, but she agrees with him. We should probably go ahead and find ourselves some equipment. So be ready for anything. So we can buy a shield at the shop for 40 rupees, but there's only one sword hidden somewhere in the forest. That is all the help we get. Another new addition to the 3DS version of the game are the inclusion of Sheikah statues. So there are only 2 of these, and essentially they will grant you visions of the future, which will give you hints and guidance on things that we're eventually going to need to do. Don't really need to worry about that too much for now, but let's go and find ourselves some weaponry here, shall we? There's a few houses that we can go and explore, this one being Mido's, the boss of the Kokiri. And you know what? Just because I'm so mad and irate at him right now, we're just gonna go ahead and rob him blind. This dude is about to have the worst day of his life. And when we inevitably start getting into randomizers, this is a godsend of a room that never ends up working out for us. The world's most useless recovery heart and another roop. So, not too bad for us. He's gonna be in for a nice little surprise here. And if you guys don't agree with me that Mido's a jerk, look, he's causing this poor, suffering soul to do ungodly things to this rock. Yeah, mean old Mido making me pick up the rocks in front of his house for no reason. So yeah, it's not really that heavy. And sometimes they'll drop some neat stuff in them, but of more importance is his savings that he just leaves unattended to behind his house. And we can go and talk to you, and you will tell us about learning things at the Forest Training Center. Yeah, cool. There's a few things that we can do here, but until we get a sword, it's a little redundant and useless, so let's go and check this out. Hey, this is the Hole of L. At least it isn't the whole of Ellison. So they're gonna teach us exactly how to crawl through these, and we'll do so without any issues. I have a feeling this little crawl space is just ridden with like bugs and moss and just like weird semblances of just like moistness. We have a rolling rock here, which is a little scary, but there's also just a couple of rupees we can grab here. Also, for heading up to the most shameless self-advertisement that we have ever known, Visit the house of the Know-It-All Brothers to get answers to all your item-related questions. Really? You're gonna put it in this sacred treasure that holds the greatest antique held by the Kokiri children? Not surprising. This is the Kokiri sword, a hidden treasure, but we can borrow it for a little while. Just make sure we practice and we'll be fine. So pretty easy enough to go ahead and equip. All we got to do is just throw that puppy on and we can now slash and dash to our heart's content. Yeah, it doesn't have the greatest range and it's the weakest weapon you can find, but it'll help us out as long as we're a child who knows what he's doing with it. So now would be the time for us to go and do just a little bit of training, and now he's gonna keep pestering us about it, but this guy, he's got some kung fu moves. Let's work on some, huh? So it's gonna tell us about L targeting, which we can jump sideways and do backflips, roll attacks. Wow, to think we were never able to use L targeting until we found a fairy. So one of the things you'd want to practice on is the fact that, well, somewhere hidden in the sky are just a few rupees. I think you can find them so long as you jump the right way, but it's nice to know that you're rewarded for practicing. You can also adjust between two different targets, which is cool. And Navi, what do you got for me? Oh, right. Well, you heard the guy. I need a shield at least. So we can take a look at this. Cut grass with your sword. And of course, the thrust. So we can target this, and when you thrust it, you also get a nice little rupee there. And you know, speaking about the Know-It-All Brothers, if you're having a lot of trouble with the basics, they can break the fourth wall here for us and tell us about various icons and screen adjustments that we can make. And yeah, I guess it's not really gonna matter by the way that I'm displaying the screen in the game, but yeah, I'm alright for now. And also, do not forget to save. That would be a travesty and a half. But kind of a cool little place here too. I like that there's the source of fire in the middle here and all of the fairies are moving in synchronicity with each other. But that's it for those guys. I'm not going in there ever again. And let's go and find a few more rupees. We've already got 44, so we're set. But if we head over here, this is Saria's house. I don't think there's necessarily anything in here we need right now, but there's a lot of hearts and also no semblance of decor or personality or anything to indicate that somebody interesting lives here, but at least we can stock up on some hearts and make our merry way to the more important part of this structure, and that is the top side. The reason for that being is that we can grab ourselves a rupee that has been eyeballing us from across the village, and we can also prove our manliness, according to this poor girl. Well, it is a very pretty view, but even prettier with this blue rupee in the way. So we can go into first person mode, and with the gyroscoping, oh my goodness, I just love being able to see just by adjusting the system. I just need to be a little careful that it doesn't jostle the wire out of my capture card, but it's pretty nice, and especially when we start aiming with stuff, we'll be in a pretty good position to, you know, aim and just be extra precise about it. Over here we can grab yet another blue rupee and learn about the wonders of L targeting. Well, at least speaking from afar. Yeah, that's how you use a fairy. Yeah. So thank you for that. And this is definitely something that helps revolutionize the way that you play in this game, so Navi is more helpful than you would imagine. But we step in here, and this is the shop. Hello, sir. It appears as though you are also doing ungodly things to this counter. Just grab a box, my dude. We sell shields, but not swords. Yeah. Well, we've got Deku seeds and arrows, hearts, just a couple of things that we can't really do much about for now. So let's take our shield and make sure it doesn't burn. This is the Deku shield, and we can finally crouch and defend. So let's go ahead and steal this man's poor lunch wages. And I'm curious. So this shop, it sells things you can get in the forest for free. She is calling him out. Okay, so now she's gonna get into her whole spiel about having to equip it in our menu, so sure, let's go and do it. Same thing as before, but now we're looking just fine and dandy. Let's step out, and there's a few things that we can still explore around here. A couple of houses and the Lost Woods, of course, but I think we have some slightly more pressing matters at hand. And we can rub it in old Mido's face that we've got the goods, man. All right, it's time for you to skedaddle out of here. And, oh yeah, Deku Shield and the Kokiri Sword. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Yeah, Wimp is still a wimp, huh? He is just the epitome of insecurity, and he will never accept us as one of them. Yeah, so Saria and the Great Deku Tree, as he grumbles out of the way. He is about to have the worst day of his life the second he steps through his doors. So, we have one small bit of combat to attend to in the form of withered Deku Babas. These are essentially the easiest kind of enemy you will ever fight because they will not actively attack you unless you walk into them, but we can go and kill them, use their cold, rotting corpse as a weapon as well. The Deku Stick is pretty important in the original game just because of how powerful it is, but the only issue with that is obviously in this game, they have ended up nerfing it pretty substantially. Whereas before, it used to have the strength of the Bigoron sword, it is now just as strong as the Deku sword, so that is not good. Or Kokiri sword. I'm not very good at talking. But it's the Great Deku Tree. Oh, and he looks amazing. Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons have been restless and full of nightmares. Tell me about it. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. That is quite the dialect. But the time has come to test thy courage. For you see, the Great Deku Tree has been cursed, and we need to break it with wisdom and courage. Do I have enough to undertake this task? I don't know. It's kind of a lot to ask of a child like myself, but yes, I will do it. Oh. Well, this is not exactly what I had in mind, but Navi the Fairy will be our navigational aid, and we can use the button to listen well to her words of wisdom. Oh, man. Well, before we head inside, we can do some slight perimeter scavenging, because we've got another withered Deku Baba right over here, and we have the Curious Stones of Gossip. We can't do much about them now, but something that's a little morbid is the fact that Navi can sense that there's a fairy, quote-unquote, hiding inside of it. Is it hiding, or is it being held against its will? Is it being imprisoned? Why are there just stray fairies out in the world that simply will not come to Link in his time of need? For his entire adolescence, he has been plagued by not having a fairy, but he couldn't even get one of these Gossip Stone fairies to come and, you know, at least give him a hand out in the wilds of society. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of rough. But before we end things off, because it is the first episode, we'll do a little bit of this first dungeon just to get things started. I don't want to make these episodes too long, but I think there will be more frequent uploads since I feel like a lot of these dungeons can be completed pretty quick if we know what we're doing. But now, we've got the introduction of proper unwithered Deku Babas. These killer vegetables are a little annoying because they will actively try to spit at you, but if you go ahead and take a lovely little sword to their throats, then they will generally die. But depending on how you kill them, you can go and reap their nuts in return. These are incredibly useful items that can be used to flashbang enemies and stun them, so we are going to equip those immediately. And for items that you're more likely to use right in the heat of battle, I like to equip them on the button and not the touchpad button, so that's why the sticks are there. But yeah, depending on how these are fought, you can get sticks and or nuts out of them, and it would be a good idea to have a healthy combination of both there. So as we climb up here, we can learn how to jump, which is done automatically, which is fantastic. We can go and cut some weeds in here, and we can learn about the novel concepts of skullwaltulas. These guys are very annoying and will make it very difficult to climb up here without getting knocked down. And also, we can disrespect the hell out of the Great Deku Tree by climbing on the vines, but I don't think he will really mind that much. Instead, we're going to pillage the treasure within and find ourselves our first dungeon map. A little pointless at this juncture just because we don't really have much of a reason to need a map, but it'll be a lot more helpful once we get the compass. Also, we learn about the state-of-the-art technology regarding doors, so that's great. Glad we just learned how to do that in here. And we've got a Deku Scrub. How's it going, friend? He's gonna shoot projectiles at us, at which point we can just repel it back with our shield. So he's gonna give us unsolicited advice, telling us to go jump off a high cliff and see what happens. But yeah, I'm not taking that advice anytime soon, so thank you. I absolutely love when Link does the fast spin. Oh, it's so good. So this is a pretty fun room, especially in randos. That platform that is floating will fall the second you jump onto it. So if you don't have a projectile to get your way out of here by way of this ladder that's in here for some reason, you're softly soft-locked and you can just save and quit, but no. They give you exactly what you need to escape right in this chest. And lo and behold, it is the fairy slingshot. Oh, it's beautiful. I love this thing. I really liked this as a kid growing up, but we'll go and put that on Y. And we can now aim, shoot, and fire. And with the gyroscoping, we can just adjust things as needed, but of course, locking on is a little bit safer, you know. Also, before you forget, make sure you climb up here and grab one of the more useless chests you can find, unless it's rando. Another recovery heart. Thank you, appreciate that. So let's go ahead and see if we can finagle this. There we go, didn't even need that stankin' ladder. But we've got exactly what we needed, so we can start climbing that vine and seeing if we can't make our way up even higher. As you see, there is a web that is unfortunately blocking all progress, so surely going up will be the right solution. Also, these skullwaltulas are just gonna be kind of annoying to kill, but that is a-okay. Oh, and they drop some ammo for us. Small hard seeds that we can use as bullets. Thank you. So if you wanted to, you could try to brave these vines with them still on there. They would just charge you and, I don't know, hit you off the side, and it's just very annoying. But we climb up here and we'll be introduced to yet another variant of the Skulltula, the big one. The way these enemies are designed are absolutely incredible, but you have to attack their soft underbelly in order to defeat them, and then they just like shrivel up and die. Man, that's rough. Oh, joy, I love getting locked in the rooms. That's fantastic. Well, we get to learn about the novel concept about using sticks in order to light torches. Generally, this causes some pretty good things to happen, like unlocking the door, so good to keep that in mind. But we've also got a switch, and it activates these, I guess, platforms that allow us to get over here. I'm not sure how this works into the anatomy of a tree, let alone a great deity, but I'm not gonna sit here and question Nintendo logic, especially when they give us the compass. So now our map is complete, and we are able to see where we are in relation to the room, as well as any hidden treasures we might find here. So in case you needed some lovely little sticks, you can go and enjoy yourself a couple of babas here to give you them. So of course we'll go ahead and activate this one more time so we can make our way across. And be mindful of this Skulltula buddy that is just going to make life terrible, for he is guarding his lover, our first golden Skulltula. These things are the bane of everybody's existence, because once killed, they will drop a gold Skulltula token, and we need 100 of these in order to complete 100% of the game. And I'm sure you guys are thrilled that we're going to be seeking every single one of those out. Plus all of the chests that have recovery hearts apparently. But it's not so bad actually. Thank you. God, just, oh, that animation is just unsettling as hell. Just like curdles under the skin, you know. But we've gotten what we needed out of there, and if you want, you could try to take fire out here. This wall does burn down, but your stick, it just knows that when you transfer rooms, you're going to absolutely lose the stick flame. So we'll just go and defeat the rest of these. And of course, what better way to get rid of a web than by falling at it from an incredible height? There's even a heart here to compel us to jump, even though I feel like we probably shouldn't. But let's do it anyways. Hooray! But with that having been said and done, I think this is where we're going to end things off for this episode. Next time, in Ocarina of Time, we're going to explore what the bottom half of the Deku Tree has for us, probably take on the boss, and begin our adventure properly. Thank you so much for watching, and oh man, I cannot wait for us to get this show on the road. I'm a little bummed that it's going to be a few months before we start this, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back for more next time. Take care, everyone. Oh yeah, I need more nuts.